as tall as that. Some of them are like 60 years old, 70 years old. And the sad thing was that we saw agbalumo on the floor, just wasting. Because number one, there's a myth that women cannot even climb the trees. That if a woman climbs the tree will not fruit again. And then so it's just the men that can climb the trees. And then they don't even know how to transport it. It took us 1 hour from a tarred road to the village. And at some point, the road, our vehicle could not even pass a bridge. We were all screaming in the car. There was just one small bridge. So you can imagine a farmer transporting those things to the town, and then we'll now price it down, So a lot of it was just on the floor. I saw it firsthand. It was so painful, and you can imagine that replicating across. We buy strawberries from Jos. We buy 99% of our ingredients are sourced locally. We buy strawberries from Jos, and we have to buy it at the season. It's a very short season, so you can have it all year round. Mango, we're in mango season now, so we are buying mango. But we have a particular species of mango we buy. I'm not going to say it here. That's our trade secret. But we have a particular species of mango. If you open this mango, the fragrance that will hit you, you'll be like you're in mango land. Because we've understood it. We've studied about 20 different species of mango in Nigeria. And we've understood that the particular one that gives you that wholeness, that's awesome. It's like you should just harvest the seeds into your container and carry it with you, So we go to the southeast from Ogun State to Osun State to Ilesha, trying to buy bananas and stuff like that. So, let me stop here for now.
Thank you so much. Let me let you into a secret. One thing she didn't tell you, if you put this mango on your tongue, I'm telling you, it melts in the mouth. Compared to what we do by dehydrating, hers just melts in your mouth. So you can even add it to water and turn into a drink and all of that. Her pepper soup, I have to specially talk about. When you see it, don't be deceived. When you see it, you just look at it like, what's this? Please add hot water to the freeze-dried pepper soup. Just add hot water. Do you know it becomes the normal pepper soup that you will buy? At her stand in the UK when we went for the Fidelity, Nigerians were queuing up. They've missed home. So, one woman said, no, there's no shame in this thing. She sat down and ate it like, because it gave her the real taste, the exact taste that she would get if she was eating pepper soup from Nigeria. So thank you very much. I also know that you've traveled the length and breadth of Nigeria just to be able to curate the best experience for us when we buy your product. I know that the one that freaked me out was that agbalumo. She had to send it to me. I just kept shouting, agbalumo, okay, agbalumo, agbalumo, It's not robbery or anything. It just melts in the mouth. Thank you once again. So I'm going to go back to my fellow farmer. We hold the ace when it comes to all these things there. All these, they are shakara without us. So my audience have heard you say you have lots of trees, you can make money from it. Trees don't grow overnight. They need between your trees. You can decide, if you don't have time and you really do not want to farm so much, you can decide to do things like yam, potatoes, sweet potatoes. You could do cassava if you are particularly interested. First, cassava is never the first thing that comes to my mind anyway, So there's so many options that you can get your workers to do while you're waiting for your trees to grow. Trees have different maturity times. A soursop tree should be ready for fruiting in about 3 to 4 years if you maintain it well. You don't leave your trees after you've planted them, please. The growing process requires manuring and checking to see that it has properly established. Couple of tips I'm going to give. Because I got my fingers burnt a lot in the tree growing process, I lost millions. We started the farm in 2017, and within the first 2 years, I was really, really very focused on growing trees. I don't think I have if I bought 1,000 tree seedlings within that time, I don't think I have
20 left standing as we speak, yes. And I bought from everywhere, within Nigeria and Africa. So in foreign currency and in Naira. So, and the logistics, exactly. So two things I would say. You have to, don't just let anybody throw your seedlings into a hole somewhere and say that's fine. No. It has to be manured, it has to be compost, and you have to make sure that there's water. Second thing, ideally when you're planting any tree, please time it for about this time in any year, just as the rains are starting off, so that before the rains go, your trees would have had the advantage of perhaps 5 to 6 months of rainwater, by which time it would be fully established. Now, there are all kinds of nurseries around, and they sell all kinds of seedlings. It took me, when did we find that man? It took me 5 years to find, 6 years, to find somebody who was growing the right kind of breeder. Anybody can sell you a seedling, and it will just be this stem, like that stem behind you right there. Somebody can tell you that that's a tree. I'm sorry if that's not a vegetable. I think it's a vegetable. But somebody can sell you a seedling with the top part of that, so tender, so light and everything, and tell you it's ready to plant. Yes, it is. Maybe in your house, but not on a farm. Not on a farm. When I found the right breeder, I was given mangoes, citrus fruits, that had thick stems, very thick stems, like sticks, strong sticks that you could almost break. And those are the ones that established properly and started to mature on the farm. If they sell you anything other than that, like chances are they will not survive, or they will need a whole lot of care, which depending on how much time you have available may not really work. So those are some of the things that you would want to consider. If you want to go into big time cashew cultivation, one thing I've noticed in that one is, please don't assume that if you've planted 1,000 cashew trees, all of them are going up. No. You're going to go back every year. There will be some that have died. You have to keep on replacing. This is our 4th year, and as of this morning, I know that I'm still replacing close to 500 out of about 4,000 trees. We've been doing that every year. Okay, so these are some tips that you want to consider for tree cultivation. Okay? Yes, please.
How long does it typically take to see a return on investment? Now you told us we need to wait for years and all of that. We need to replace, we need to nourish them. But then, how long should we?
Let's acknowledge the presence of
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. Trees. Okay. So in terms of, yeah, expect a return. It depends on what you grow. So this is why I said, in the meantime, if you want to try to make money from the land, at least make use of the space in between. Grow short-term tubers like yam, 7 months, 8 months. Sweet potatoes, 4 months, 5 months. Cassava, another 7, 8 months, you should be fine. And those will bring in perhaps money for operations, over time. For return on investment that is directly linked to the trees you've grown, it depends on how long it takes for the trees to fruit. Soursop is 3 to 4 years. The average citrus, maybe 4 or 5 years. Coconuts, they say 3 years, but I think more. I'm just seeing us starting to fruit, and it's been about 5 years since we planted. So we'll say some things are hybrid and they will do like 1.5 years. No, I'm sorry, it won't. The only things that I have seen that have surprised me pleasantly have been the hybrid citruses that I've bought and the mangoes that have fruited in 2 years. or less. Yes, I have lemons. I have Indian lemons and Chinese lemons that have fruited, that have started to fruit 1.5 years after. Even in pots, exactly. But generally speaking, cashew is 3 to 4 years as well. So it depends on what you are buying. And but generally trees take time. Allow 3 years, anywhere from 3 to 7 years, depending on what it is you've bought. Yes. All right.
Thank you. So, yes, to another food processor, we can't do without each other. That's just it. We can't do without each other. And the more we produce, the more work that we should actually get you to do. But I would like to find out, are there challenges that you have experienced in sourcing your raw materials for the dehydration hub?
Understand the question very well. When you say raw material, is it
Yes,
for
that's
the machines
fruits.
or
Yes,
the
for
fruits?
The machine, the fruits. Have you had challenges, or how do you maintain to continuously have product for the machines?
So basically, we have to work with fruits in season because so now mango just came out, and we get our mangoes at a particular time in the year, and by July there will be no more mangoes anywhere. So we have to do as much preservation as we can so that we can have supply all year round, even though it may not be in fresh form anymore. So it could either be in frozen form or dehydrated form or freeze dried form. So it's always a challenge. Tomato is another problem. I mean, we started already with tomatoes dehydration as at 6 weeks ago. A basket of tomato was 35,000. As at yesterday was 85,000. So now there's going to be that thing where, and it happens every year, and it beats me why we are not even doing anything about it, because especially tomatoes, every year when it's rainy season, into the rainy season, they will start telling you basket of tomato is 200,000. In the north, it's just that it is done not hygienically. If we can do it down south, speak to the farmers, take their harvests and dehydrate, and by the end of the year we would still have enough tomato. It may be dry, but you can use it for anything, as powder, as whatever, flakes, to do your rough. We do it at home. So it's something that I believe that every home should at least start with a dehydrator so that you can preserve food in season.
Thank you very much. Talking about this local way of preserving tomatoes, I stumbled on it online. Is that the one they use the mud to build? Oh, there's another one. They do in the north, which I think is time for us to also see how we can incorporate. They build is like from mud. The mud has or clay. Let me use clay for instead of mud. So they build it, and they build like boxes more or less, and pour the tomatoes in between. Then yes, and then they have a way of covering it with maybe leaves and things. And do you know they come back months after? The tomatoes retain their shape and figure. Yeah. It was a conference like this that somebody mentioned. Oh, in Nigeria, I'm like the same Nigeria that I came from, And so as soon as I came, I think it was FAO that mentioned it at one of their events. So we have so many opportunities. But let me give the microphone to the PAMSEC, because we know Lagos State is. In fact, every time people hear Lagos State and agriculture, I heard a lady once. She said some of us should cover our eyes in shame that Lagos State agriculture. That we know Lagos State for the heavy population, traffic, industries, and businesses. What is the secret behind their foremost agriculture strides? So I would like to give him the microphone so I can share the Lagos State experience with us. Thank you, Mr. Pamsek. Please let's give him a round of applause. You have to hold it. Sorry.
All right. So thank you very much, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize for coming late to this event. We have another state event somewhere in Unicon. There is May Day, and I celebrate all workers in the house. Thank you very much. So the Lagos State experience in terms of food and food production. We have the highest population in the country. Daily people migrate into Lagos. I came to Lagos some years ago. And so Lagos has become home for me and my family also. And so it is the land of opportunity for so many across the nation. Everybody is finding their way down to Lagos. And with that, depending on other states to feed your people, will be a challenge. Because the Englishman says that a hungry man is an angry man. And we don't want a state full of angry people. It could be destructive. So we are very, very, very particular about how, the social well-being of people living in Lagos. At the time, the upcountry, they locked the roads and the food didn't come to Lagos. We know how it, the experience, that we had in Lagos. And so, looking at that and the need to feed our population, we, decided to embark on massive agricultural production. So we don't just say that Lagos is a commercial area and that we're not an agrarian society. We decided to take on agriculture, and commercialize agriculture does not actually require too much space. Much so when you look at urban farming these days, you don't, an intensive farming, whether in fisheries or livestock, you don't need too much space. Scientifically, you can grow more food within a little area, small confined area to feed your people. So we are pursuing two things, three things, let me say. One is what we call, improving domestic sufficiency, which is about scaling productions, empowering our local farmers to increase production capacity, not just to feed, but also to, develop their own livelihood for themselves, generate income for themselves also. So we're doing that, increasing local production. We're also looking at what we call, domestic partnership with up-country states to increase production and produce food directly for Lagos, which a project we call Produce for Lagos. Whether within Lagos, or within the Southwestern states or other states of the Federation, that have the capacity to produce food. Just a food system transformation agenda, which segments, our food systems into 3 tiers. We call one the central one that is akin to what we have in Mile 12 market and the Okiodo market. We call that the Lagos Food Security Systems, Central Food Security Systems and Logistic Hub. It is patterned after the Rungi market in Paris, France. In fact, across the entire West African state now, Lagos has become a model for that particular project because it's to hold food, ensure that when food is in season, like tomato you're talking about, when it's in season, we're able to hold it, so that we reduce wastage, post-harvest loss, and when we are coming to this period of scarcity where price is going up, we can begin to push out and stabilize prices. That project is massive, is ongoing on about 208 hectares of land at Keturenyu in Ekped, equal to the size of 14 football fields to process whole food. That is what Lagos is all about, that massive infrastructure. And guess what? That facility will hold food. So that should there be no supplies coming into Lagos, we can have food that will last Lagos for at least 3 months, 90 days. We have that facility ongoing, and that we hope that we commission the first phase towards the end of the last quarter of the year. To be food market will eventually evolve into Lagos. The current market talks of traffic, debt, inefficiencies, all manners of levies and all of those things happening. But where we are transiting to in our agenda is a place where producers, processors will come into the space. Something like this facility. Something like this facility will be up and running. We have the one going on in Agege. If you are on the Agege Pennsylvania Bridge, look to your left, just opposite Zenith Bank, you see a massive infrastructure being built there. Yes, that is it. We have one going on in Abidjan, in Nigeria here, very clear. Then if you're on the climbing the Oregon Bridge, Link Bridge, towards the, from where you have the old Daystar to Okwebi, look to your left also. We have begun the construction of the Okwebi Ikeja one there. So the idea is to have these hubs, one in each local government, and then go on at the end of the day to grant what we call franchise licenses to private investors who want to develop such kind of facilities within their land spaces based on the established designs and patterns that we have put up when that program is fully implemented. So we'll transit from the old marketing or market stores to the new. In fact, we have a market now that has invited us to come look at upgrading that old market to this new one, knowing that that is where we are going to. So that's what we are about as Lagos. So to strengthen production capacity also, we ran a project that we call the Onje Eko Farmers Subsidy Program to provide subsidized fish feed and poultry feed to our value chain actors in the state. At that point where we had to inject and come in, eggs were, crate of egg was going to as far as 6,000 per crate, and the poultry feed going as far as 20-something thousand, 28,000 per bag. So we gave 25% discount to our farmers to at least reduce the burden of feeding fish and feeding poultry, so that we can stabilize and keep that business going, because many farms were shutting down and we needed to intervene. So we ran that program earlier this year, and we anticipate that we are submitting our document. We are waiting further approvals to run a bigger scale of that program, where we can bring more farmers into coverage and provide support for them to ensure that they're able to keep on with their production capacity and ensure that Lagos continue to drive in terms of food production. So that we won't be dependent 100%. In fact, our goal that by the end of this year, by year 2021, we're producing just about 25% of our food needs. By the end of this year, the idea of the roadmap that we're on is that we should begin to produce at least 40%. At the end of the year, we'll be doing, taking a measure to check where we are in terms of our food sustainability. And that's what we are as a state government. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me share with you what we learned 2 days ago when he delivered a speech at the organic conference by Noan. We were told that it is no longer a call for show. Please, it is now a call for action. Let me hear all of you. A call for action. Yes, a call for action. Can we all do it? A call for action. Yes. And from what he's told us, food security is, somebody once mentioned that in the US, I think the overall person in charge of food reports directly to the president. Yeah, and when he started, he said something. He said, a hungry man is an angry man. So Lagos State is ensuring that we're not going to have angry people all over the place. Thank you very much, Mr. Pamsek. We're very honored to have you here. So I would just like to round up with this session and ask, let me ask Mr. Olarewaju. We need to know, how do we really make money in this tree planting? What is the ROI? Tell us more, that we can plant trees and go to bed, knowing fully well that it is money that we are going to reap at the end of the day.
Okay, thank you so much, ma. I think one thing that she said about the production cycle. During the production, when you are producing, where the plants, the trees are growing, you are not making much money from the tree directly, but you are actually waiting for the fruit. Maybe I talk about the fruit. I think the ROI, basically, after harvesting, is actually between 3 to 4 years, depending on your level of investment and also the scale of your production. So it means that if you start harvesting by 4th year, maybe by 2 to 3 years later, you should actually break even. So that is how it works. But when you have massive infrastructure and the likes, that might be longer. But most tree crops, you can actually harvest them till 30 years later, 40 years later. However, it is advisable that after 15, 20 years, you should actually plant a new one, because the productive life has actually, you start reducing after 10 years. 10, 15 years, the production will start declining. But where do you make money from? Everybody knows that when you sell the product, you make money from the product. But there's another way where you make the product, to make money, is also through carbon credits. So carbon credit economy is a very big business now. And in Nigeria, we have not really tapped into it, because currently where we sell credit is in Europe. In Europe, there's already a framework where you can sell credit, and this credit, you need to tap it. You need to record it. the trees, what type of tree. Each tree has the quantity of carbon they can attract, and you record it, and they can also verify it. So you have to have the coordinates of each of your trees. So if you are going to the carbon credit market, it has to be massive, like roughly maybe minimum of 50 hectares when you are starting with carbon. Yes, a lower one you can do 20, but what you get is very, very not much. As at now, for the project we are doing for carbon, they sell carbon that is not certified at 80 euros per ton. And for the ones that is certified, you can get 120 to 150 euros per ton. So your trees, what quantity of carbon can you attract in a year? If you are attracting like 100 kg in a year for one tree, and you have about 10 trees, it simply means that it's just 1,000. So that's 1,000 trees, which is about 80 euros alone, only 80 euros per year. So it's not a good business case. So you can make money from carbon credits, from your agroforestry. So you can also make profit or money from your product, which is after 4 years. But for your carbon credit, you can start making money immediately the leaves start growing. So, but at different stages, the credit your leaf can attract increases. So that is also the business case. For me, yes, locally, the fruits you can make money. But if you want to get a premium price, go internationally. Coconuts. One of the things that I got some demand from is organic coconuts. There's a company in Netherlands that was looking for organic coconut. They came to do a study in Lagos State. We realized that they could not get organic coconut in Lagos. And I also worked with the FAO in 2021, 22 to help to develop to do an assessment for the Lagos State government to improve the coconut value chain. I know that this is a big market. It's a big market internationally. Oil palm is also an agroforest that is a big market. I was in Germany from March till last week just to look for buyers. Now, most of buyers in Netherlands, Germany, Belgium, you see the African stores, you see the palm oil. Palm oil comes from Netherlands. The Netherlands bought it in Costa Rica. Other palm oil, Ghana. The next one, Guinea. I could not see one palm oil from Nigeria. None. I could say I entered different stores, none from Nigeria. And the reason is because we cannot produce to standard. Yes, it's the fatty acid. They want fatty glycerol and the like. They want a specific. So that is what we need to look into. How do we tap into beyond local production? Yes, local market needs it. Beyond it, how do we get forests? And that is what we need to think about when we're actually establishing our agroforestry. We can start local, which is there. We sell in local market, but we need to extend to international markets because that is where we can actually attract better value for it. But for us to enter into the international market, I mentioned the first time, we need our sustainable certification. And if you are doing agroforestry, you need to think of one certification that is important is rainforest. Rainforest Alliance certification is important. That is what we can assist you to implement. The second one is organic certification. And you could either do the normal organic certification, or if your product like shea is in the wild, you do wild, they call it wild collection. That is the second certification you have to do, organic, which is a good marketing tool. And the third one is Forest Stewardship Council. You are telling them that, okay, I want to use my agroforestry to develop a forest. And as certified Forest Stewardship Council, what it simply means that any wood product from your farm is certified, and it is demanded internationally. When you buy any product that has paper, look at on it, you will see FSC there. That is the certification. In Europe, any person using wood or wood product must be certified for FSC. So this is where the business is, and we need to tap into it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I understand that they want the farm sec. So let's just, each speaker, give us something to go away with. Thank you. Let's start from, yes. Yeah.
Looking at the global trends with health and food and nutrition and the general direction now, my advice for any would-be farmer, anybody going into cultivation or into the agric value chain, as much as it might take a lot more out of you, please always consider going the natural, the organic way. That's the path of the future, and for the longevity of your business, and also for patronage beyond the shores of the country. Look to grow as naturally, as organically as possible. Yeah.
I would always say to the farmers, of course you have said it, be as natural as possible. So I mean, you need to look at the health of the people who are eating your food. People don't want to eat your food and get sick. So as farmers, grow the right thing, and then if you're going to add value to whatever is remaining, also do the right thing. You know, meet standards, different standards, hygiene, you know, sanitation, all these things are really very important. And then use the right tools and materials. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So, to you and then to them, and then
The question was, can money grow on tree? Yes, money can grow on tree when we connect with trade system. Beyond making agroforestry your passion, you can actually translate your passion into something more valuable. Thank you.
So I put down something, and I just thought I should read it out to you. So this is not just about trees. It's about regenerating our economy from the soil up. Yes, trees, they protect the land, they cool the earth, they fight erosion. But more than all of that, trees can lift entire communities, one product at a time. So I say this with full chest. Stop walking past your opportunity. Stop calling trees just trees. Build that dryer, start that kitchen, form that group, process that fruit, because money does grow on trees. But only for those who are ready to climb, to harvest, to process, and to believe. Thank you.
So for me, there is a quote I have, and I tell you, I say, grow something, because that is the way to grow. It's a beautiful thing for you to plant something, and you see, and you nurture that thing, and it's growing. A little plant, vegetable behind your house, you know, plantain in your backyard, spring onions in your windowsills, in your kitchen. Let us grow something. Thank you very much.
You know, I said when I spoke at the launch of Nexus of Nature, I said this moment is the beginning of a movement. Each and every one of us, we have a role to play. Please don't walk past anymore. This year, I was asking among the villagers around my farm, I said, how come Agbalumo? Because, I mean, before, when the season is here, I'm telling you, as you are driving towards the farm, people are carrying the Agbalumo, rushing to the market. This year, it didn't happen. And I said, once I notice a change, I want to know what's behind it. Guess what? Some people from a country I do not want to mention are now buying up Agbalumo trees. I wish I could show you the picture of an Agbalumo tree. It's probably one of the most beautiful trees in the world. The way it looks like when you merge 10 trees together. So you can actually put your hand like this, you know, like almost that is one tree. This is one tree. And then you can imagine having something like 10 together. People are buying up those trees to ship abroad for furniture. It's our future. It is the future that we are mortgaging. And guess what? They pay peanuts to the villagers for this. So please, as we go, as we live here, as we interact with our fellow, maybe in the village and all, ask after their trees. Because many of them, there was a time somebody wrote about how a place that used to be very cool is now very hot. 2 years ago, I was a speaker in Switzerland at the WTO. They have 2 massive trees within their office complex. I'm telling you, they built the office complex to avoid the trees. Every lunchtime, when they say we should come and eat inside, yours truly, I eat under that tree. Because for me, it's like heaven on earth. So please make this moment a movement. Let us fight for our trees. And if possible, let us plant trees. That is why I said one thing that I feel matters right now is the talk on trees. And I appreciate each and every one of us that have missed, you haven't only missed lunch, but you're going to go to lunch late. I really appreciate your being here. And I look forward to a time when you say, I sat and heard from Nexus of Nature about trees, and it has inspired me to do more. Thank you, everyone. Oh, please let me pass it to you.
Is there a community where we can join? It can even be a WhatsApp or a Telegram. Because, you know, like I engage you in the morning.
Yes.
It's beyond here.
Yes, it is.
Some of us want to take, many of us want to take action and all that. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
I think you're the one going to push me to start that movement through the WhatsApp group.
Yes, please. It will really be nice.
Okay, another question.
So my question is on behalf of the younger people, because there is so much that we can do, you understand, and somebody who is young here will think, okay, I'm inspired by this, but I don't have 20 hectares of land. I don't have 50 hectares of land to convert to carbon low-hanging fruit or a lower bar for them. Then they will see it as something for the older ones, people who have made it already, who have money to invest in hectares of land. So I think the farmers as well as the processors can tell us something. I'm thinking of white labeling for processors. There's something like that for younger people, because they need money and they want money now. They don't want to wait for 5 years. So what are the opportunities that will make agro...
The likes of, they said, they're talking of white labeling and things like that.
Okay.
For the youth who don't want to wait.
We do. Because we don't encourage, it's not everybody that should go and buy machines. And it's not everybody that should go into farming and all that. So the agri value chain from farm to table has different players. And so we come in the processing center. So we help with product development. A lot of products you see and you use as pass through us. So you will not see our name, but we are behind those products because we help in popular brands that you see. So we tell people, why don't you test it? When you want to enter the market, instead of buying so much, you can start with a test case. And if your volumes are okay, we encourage, we have SME-friendly pricing, then you can test the market and know to validate your products, whatever.
So let me let you into what Nexus of Nature is all about. 12 years ago, I started an organic farm. And the passion at that time was so driven. I felt like shouting it to the whole world. It was tough, it was rough, but if you look at Okwe Farm says the wellness of the earth and the wellness of the people are our priority. So I see that I do more in terms of the people. I said the next level is to do more for the planet. So we are all about the green economy, sustainability. It could be in food, it could be in homes. In fact, tomorrow, there's a gentleman who's been working on eco homes. He's going to come and have a talk with us. Yes. It's also going to involve innovation, because we want to innovate organic agriculture to a point where the younger ones see it as, oh, okay, this is trendy, you know. So tomorrow we have somebody who's going to come and talk to us about drones and agriculture and how to, you know, scale up in terms of IT. So the Nexus of Nature wants to drive the talk. We want to have the kind of conversations that people might want to shy from having. For instance, I don't know if it's on Saturday, no, it's tomorrow. We're going to talk about the livestock, the kind of chemicals and toxins that our livestock are being pumped with. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. And we say that it is one topic people don't want to talk about, because those have a funny...
You boil it, you remove the shell, you cut it, and you just waft it, nothing is there.
Because of the drugs that the egg has had. So that is what it is all about. And we share more about Nexus of Nature. Thank you, everyone. Sir? Thank you very much. Can we have a photo together with the palm sec before you leave?
Asking to connect. Are they writing down the?
Yes, for those who would like to connect, yes, there's a book